But it's just a completely different feeling that we're moving into that doesn't require much effort at all except but to notice. And in that noticing, things begin to shift. And this is, why I say it doesn't really matter what modality you use to heal and transform, because it's not the modality that is doing it, it's the presence. So even the Akashic work that we're doing together, it has nothing to do, and it does, with the Akashic records. It has to do with the transmission of presence that we are all here bringing together. And just as much as I'm transmitting to you, we're in a community. And so all of these other light beings that are here, we're all interacting and swapping energetic information, and you're upgrading each other. And I'm helping contain this and bring it to a pointed focus. And we do that through the Akashic work that we do. So I'm just feeling super stoked about this. So let's just get comfy. Relaxing into your seat, or if you're laying down. And if you remember last time, just bringing your attention to wherever you can relax next. You don't even need to really do anything with it. You can even just say, relax, or just be aware. And even that awareness will begin to unwind the nervous system, percolating out into the muscles, the fascia, everything in the body, releasing, relaxing, unwinding. And just being with yourself for the next few moments. Just finding deeper and deeper layers to relax and unwind. Opening up the central channel, allowing your own divine energy to flow more easily. Allowing any interruptions in this flow to smooth out. And relaxing everything in the skull, the muscles in the head and the neck, the jaw, relaxing, unwinding and releasing. And we begin this just by saying thank you for everything that has already transpired, all the shifts and awakenings, the integrations and initiations, and the embodiment that's always been that continues to be realized more and more every moment. And just pausing in this spaciousness before we begin. Opening up the Akashic records for the fifth eye chakra, asking for the most pertinent light information, downloads, activations, clearings, healings, initiations, and integrations as it relates to the fifth eye chakra and this rebirthing process. And beginning with the human aspect, we ask for the most optimal transmission of transformation and rebirth as it relates to the human aspect of consciousness, with grace, ease, and mercy to the physical and all things affecting the physical. Collapsing all waves and patterns, ideas, beliefs, and conclusions around the human being anything other than originally innocent, okay, safe, pure, and beautiful. Clearing out of every cell in the body all ideas from this lifetime or any lifetime across every dimension, space, time, and universe as it relates to sin, karma, wrongness, abuse, trauma, hate, war, famine, suffering, poverty, inhumanity, evil, and all transgressions thereof against oneself and another. Collapsing all of these prior to their creation, and bringing in a new template of human consciousness for the collective, with these as the first recipients, for all things good, originally innocent, pure, love, harmony, goodness, prosperity, passion, creativity, the capacity of emotion in all its glory, presence, the joy of separation, the passion of pain, the glory of trauma, all that which is capable of experiencing, completely honored, totally integrated, gracefully embodied, expressed, and rewriting every neural pathway, every organ system, all bodily functions, hormones, thought patterns, thought waves, heart processes, all capacities related to intuitive and psychic ability to be retemplated to the original divine blueprint of the human, fully blessing and anchoring the human avatar into perfection, a perfection that has no cause, and no ability to be added to or taken away from, only more deeply realized. Asking for profound transformation and transmission of forgiveness, compassion on all levels, to all lifetimes, to all beings, all relationships, all connections, all emotions, all thoughts, all events, throughout all time, space, dimensions, and every universe of expression, where the human signature exists throughout all. A forgiveness that knows nothing needs to be forgiven. A forgiveness that accepts that forgiveness is still required. A forgiveness that has no cause, freely given prior to its requirement. A grace without interruption. Allowing this to transform every cell in our body, with a compassion that doesn't know a difference between whether it should give it to others or oneself. Compassion that relentlessly offers itself to every moment. Compassion that knows everything has only ever occurred in order to bring it to the surface. Compassion that knows that anything that could happen or will happen, and the consideration of either of these to only be moments where more compassion is integrated. Compassion that knows everything is in service to its expansion. A compassion that no matter how much or little compassion it receives, it always gives more. And from this place, there can be nothing else other than compassion. And asking for this transmission of compassion from the Christed frequencies to be received within every atom, cell, and molecule of the body, and the entire reality from which it experiences, repatterning all of these to this new 0 point of compassion without cause, collapsing all times, events, and experiences where these were not felt, as they are no longer required, since compassion is now freely given. Further collapsing all future moments that would have been used to cultivate compassion, now that they are no longer needed, since compassion is freely given. And since compassion is freely given, the human experience is entirely forgiven. And so it is. And we ask the angels of integration to continue integrating these human aspects, allowing this and all that is optimally more to be exponentially provided in equal amounts of grace, ease, and mercy to the physical and all things affecting the physical. As we move to the masculine aspect of this rebirthing process, opening up the Akashic records of the masculine in order to receive the most pertinent light activations, downloads, healings, initiations, integrations, and embodiments as it relates to the masculine and all that is originally innocent, powerful, providing, space giving, space holding, direct, clear, concise, and fierce in its protection of all that is sacred. collapsing all waves and patterns of the warrior archetype that are no longer optimal functions of the masculine, further clearing out all suspicions, judgments, anarchy, manipulation, control, suicide, lack of contemplation, oversaturation and overwhelm, disunity, compartmentalization, sadness, destruction, war, ambivalence, crusading, crucifying, and deliberating without any forward movement, collapsing all disharmonious functions of the masculine as it relates to the old paradigm, moving it through the bridge of the new paradigm and activating it and integrating it and all that relates to the masculine into the no paradigm, that which is beyond principles, completely anchored in presence and expressed as such. So as to become entirely effective, efficient, causelessly powerful, protective without suspicion, protective without war, protective without disintegration, protective without oversaturation and overwhelm. Repatterning, retemplating the divine masculine to the original divine blueprint, anchoring it into every cell, atom, and molecule of the human avatar, perfectly balancing it with the human aspects, clearing out all channels between the human and the masculine, allowing them to perfectly integrate and embody with grace, ease, and mercy to the physical and all things affecting the physical. repatterning the masculine's interpretation of chaos from something to control, manipulate, and war with, to that which can be utilized for expansion, joy, and safety in equal proportion to the amount of chaos. So that as chaos and instability rises, the masculine feels even more deeply secure, safe, and protected and protecting of all that is sacred, knowing that chaos can only take what was never meant to stay. And now that it has surrendered its fight, the masculine can truly stand in its light. And so it is. We ask the angels of integration to continue integrating the energies of the masculine, allowing for exponential increase of whatever is most optimal as it relates to the masculine, in equal proportion to the amount of grace, ease, and mercy to the physical and all things affecting the physical. As we move to the feminine, opening up the Akashic records of the feminine, as it relates to okayness and innocence in its original form, without distortion, without unnecessary hyperbole, in perfect balance with itself, and capable of being swayed from this causeless original innocence that has always been and could never cease to be. Asking for the most pertinent information, light downloads, activations, healings, clearings, and initiations, and embodiments as it relates to the feminine. Clearing out all false templates, of the Panther Mother archetype. All incongruencies from the Mary Magdalene archetype as it relates to this current point in ascension, and the integration of divinity as it relates to the divine feminine. Collapsing all waves and patterns of disloyalty, seduction, impropriety, suffering, feeling neglected, abused, traumatized, unappreciated, suppressed, all tendencies to refrain from conflict as a way to create ease, self-suppression in this way and in others as it relates to the feminine. Collapsing all incongruent uses of magic, sorcery, intuition, psychic ability, and anything related to these as it relates to the feminine in this new dawning age of reintegration for the divine feminine, completely repatterned and retemplated to the original divine blueprint of the divine feminine, clearing out all channels and pathways between what is human and what is feminine. Collapsing all subjugations of the feminine, beginning with the story that Eve came from Adam, and all subconscious patterns and ideas around women coming second, the feminine coming second, and collapsing all timelines, dimensions, spaces, times, and universes of experience where the feminine was suppressed, denied, tortured, manipulated, and controlled. Prior to their creation. And bringing in this original divine blueprint of the divine feminine into every cell, atom, and molecule of the body, all layers and levels of the energy field, all perception centers and chakras, allowing the full force and potency of the Shakti to be perfectly integrated, grounded, and embodied, allowing all her intuitive capacities to be reactivated, reacquainted with the human nervous system, so as to be perceivable once again. And again, collapsing all fear and suspicion within the feminine or anything that relates to the feminine. Throughout any particle of reality in the body or an experience, time, space, or dimension or universe. Allowing all this stagnant energy as it relates to fear, trauma, suspicion, doubt, anxiety, sleeplessness, restlessness, and the inability to relax into the feminine to be completely abolished, collapsed, transmuted and transformed prior to their creation, creating a new 0 point field of initiated consciousness prior to the necessity for it to be healed in order to be recognized. And now that the feminine is completely free, we can finally gather as me and we, reunifying the human family through the Divine Mother, the Divine Sister, the Divine Grandmother, the Divine Aunt, and the Goddess within all. Clearing all pathways, connections, and channels of interaction between the masculine and the feminine. Clearing out all patterns of war, distortion, incompatibility, incongruency, the inability to compromise, the ability to compromise values, reestablishing peaceful, harmonious connection, intimacy, sexuality, connection between the heart and mind of each other, reactualizing each other's consciousness within the other, in the gut, allowing these energies to perfectly intertwine, blend, synchronize, and exponentially upgrade each other. The masculine relaxing into the feminine, the feminine standing up for the masculine, and vice versa. Allowing all polarities between the masculine and feminine, known and unknown, to be collapsed prior to their creation. Reintegrating these energies prior to their disintegration. Rebalancing all chakras, all perception centers, everything physical and non-physical, all layers and levels of being, experience, from atomic to cosmic, from Christhood to that knowing of an infant, to be gracefully and easefully collapsed, reunified, and seamlessly harmonized prior to any disharmony, prior to the idea that there was anything called disharmony. And now that these energies have reunified, recognizing disharmony to only be that which is friction, collapsing all ideas, beliefs, and conclusions around friction and conflict being anything other than productive, except for in cases of abuse. To be collapsed, allowing the beauty of friction, allowing the gorgeousness of conflict, not in the sense of war, but in the sense of chemistry, new elements, ideas, formulations, sciences, technologies, ways of being are born out of this conflict. Recognizing every interruption in our idea of harmony is more harmony coming into being. This eternal conversation between inseparable parts, only held in a container of possibility called the human, so as to experience a growth that is possible nowhere else but here. Reminding every cell, every heart, that conflict is purposeful, generous, and fair. And as things come together and things fall away, all is perfect and never in the way. Finding this deep spaciousness we find ourselves in, allowing this to reacquaint our entire being on this human level, integrated in the masculine and the feminine, recognizing the holy trinity of union on the physical level between the masculine, the feminine, feminine and human, human and masculine. This representing the first aspect of the Merkaba light body. Asking the angels of integration to continue integrating these energies with exponential force in equal congruence to the amount of grace, ease, and mercy to the physical and all things affecting the physical, so as to be seamless and nearly imperceivable. As we move on to the divine aspect of the fifth eye chakra, opening up the divine aspect of the fifth dimensional eye, the fifth eye as it relates to original innocence and causeless okayness. Asking for the most pertinent light information, downloads, activations, clearings, healings, and initiations as it relates to the divine aspect of the fifth eye. Collapsing all incongruent correlations to this point in ascension and integration as it relates to God or the universe, source, oneness, unity, whatever that is understood to be and called as Amakua. Collapsing all waves and patterns of distortion from spirituality to religion, anything that relates to God other than as that is. And as that is exactly as you are. Clearing out all ideas, beliefs, conclusions, all psychic phenomenon and intuitive understandings that relate to the vertical relationship to spirit. And reestablishing the embodied understanding of the Fibonacci spiral, recognizing God as wholly within and fully without. As within, so without. clearing out all beliefs and ideas around as within, so without, meaning anything to do with things that seem incongruent to your highest values, meaning anything about you internally. Collapsing all experiences of the external, meaning anything about the internal, if it is incongruent with truth, truth being that which you are, allowing the full recognition that all is that, but not all that knows this, perceives this, or behaves in this way. And in recognizing this, collapsing all experiences of other, allowing the full recognition that the light that you are is animating all things, and moving this recognition from conscious knowing into embodied and lived experience, transforming every cell, atom, and molecule of the human avatar and all experiences throughout all time, space, dimension, and universe. Allowing the purity of interface between within and without to be that sandwiched space between human and divine, seated behind the character, totally within it, fully throughout it, and alive in all things. Collapsing all relationships between emotions, thoughts, sensations, feelings, as being anything other than that which you are, other than the that I am. And by reestablishing right order between all things, it doesn't matter what we notice about how we relate, only that noticing how things are relating is the transformation in progress. No longer blinding ourselves as a character that needs character development, reminding every cell, atom, and molecule in the human avatar that nothing other than the fully developed character is here, and by witnessing all that seemingly needs to be developed, development occurs effortlessly. Clearing out all pathways and connections between human and divine, reestablishing divine right order, reacquainting each other with original innocence from their own perspectives, reestablishing a harmonious connection between these different perspectives, between these two panes of glass. To be brought into recognized alignment, seamless integration, perfect annuity. Clearing out all pathways and connections between the divine and the masculine. Clearing out all distortions, any sense of falling from grace. Clearing out all pathways between the divine and the feminine. Anything related to the sensation, experience, memory, or anything as it relates to the experience of falling from grace. And bringing these divine aspects of the feminine and the masculine together and clearing all connections between the two. Reactivating, reintegrating the divine human template, the Merkaba light body, recognizing the Holy Trinity of the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and all that is. Clearing out all channels between, all connections between human and divine aspects of both the masculine and the feminine, and as they relate to each. Reactivating the human divine consciousness of the Metatron's cube. As we are repatterning and retemplating this geometry into every cell, atom and molecule of the human being, the human avatar, in all layers and levels of experience throughout every perception center and chakra, in all layers and levels of being. And now that all is recognized, recognized is all. Free, free from the fall that never was. Collapsing all waves and patterns as it relates to the fall of consciousness, the Kali Yuga. Collapsing all of these creations prior to their creation. allowing for the full reintegration of the divine template in its original form. With these beings as the first anchor point. Of that consciousness, that awareness, that embodiment, that integration, that initiation. Reactivating intimacy between all parts, connection between all pieces, and congruency between all layers. So that cohesive, conscious, directed expansion with effortless flow and grace can be experienced with grace, ease, and mercy to the physical and all things affecting the physical. Asking the angels of integration to continue integrating these energies with exponential force in equal amounts of grace, ease, and mercy to the physical and all things affecting the physical. As we move to the amalgamation of all of these parts, completing the activation and rebirth of the fifth eye chakra. It's fundamentally queer energy, opening up the Akashic records of the queer energy of the fifth eye chakra as it relates to original innocence, okayness, purity, lack of convention, and complete creativity. Collapsing all waves and patterns of abuse, trauma, suppression, of the amalgamation of all parts, that which is fundamentally queer, that which is traditionally untraditional, that which is conventionally unconventional. Collapsing all timelines of disharmony with this aspect. Clearing out all labels, abuses, and conflicts with that which is different. Prior to their creation, allowing for the full integration of creativity, power, joy, glee, playfulness, creativity, improvisation, acting, dancing, all aspects of childlike nature, clearing out all ideas, beliefs, or conclusions around Peter Pan syndrome, Peter Pan trauma, that archetype, collapsing all that is incongruent to this new timeline from this archetype prior to its creation. Asking for the original divine blueprint of that which was nothing but completely sacred. Reminding every cell, atom, and molecule of our being, and throughout every layer and level of consciousness in every time, space, dimension, and universe, throughout every lifetime, that it is safe, effective, joyful, and fun to be radically different, completely cutting edge, totally self-expressed, and pure in your originality. Asking for an activation around each's unique divine frequency, allowing for the full saturation of this frequency to be optimally received within every cell, atom, and molecule, expressed easefully and gracefully throughout every layer and level, experienced throughout every perception center, and integrating without interruption with total mercy to the physical and all things affecting the physical. Recapturing the awe of the child, that which is prior to knowing what is human, what is divine, what is masculine, what is feminine. That original innocence that knows no separation or parts prior to it being taught. Reactualizing this consciousness with full maturity, full discipline, full innocence, full playfulness, full creativity, full intuitive capacity, full psychic ability, and full expansion throughout every chakra, known and unknown. Allowing the radiant light force of each unique frequency of divinity known as me and you and I, or us and them, to be perfectly received and given, allowing complete recognition of others' perfection, regardless of how far it differs from the values, beliefs, and ideas of oneself. and opening up this channel of original innocence to begin flowing out to all others' experiences, all others' ideas, all others' beliefs. This actually being a deeper integration of that for ourselves. Further collapsing the identification of separation as the truth of all things. Reintegrating prior to disintegration, the unification of all things while completely enjoying and celebrating the separation that was never designed to fall away. Only a human experiment to fully integrate as individuated beings with the full power, force, and glory of Source itself. No longer requiring a vertical connection to spirit. Now that all has been integrated as it relates to these aspects within and throughout, the amalgamation of all things, the freedom of the queer spirit is born again. And from this rebirth, may all that comes forth be of immaculate grace, mercy, and ease. In equal congruence to the amount of ecstatic pleasure, power, and presence that is anchored throughout all aspects of consciousness, known and unknown, wherever it may find itself or have forgotten itself. Bringing all into remembrance in its most optimal timeline. Repatterning our experienced time is not a journey towards progression, but regressing into what's always been fully realized is that which was always here. And completely queer. And so it is. Asking the angels of integration to continue integrating all of these energies with exponential force and equal congruence to the amount of grace, ease, and mercy to the physical and all things affecting the physical. Closing all Akashic records that are no longer relevant to this time. Allowing all of these to come into deep grounding. As we reacquaint ourselves to our surroundings. And just taking your time. I think we're gonna have like a little bathroom break and I'll be right back. No, Amy, I do not. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to share a file here. Let's do here. I just last night, I've written 2 chapters. Last night it just total inspiration, the book cover that is going to be for my first book. because it's like, I feel like just, I mean, especially as it relates to like sexual expression and creativity, that amalgamation is so important, because if you're only stuck in one energy or the other, like there's just not a, there can just be so much greater flow, between two people if you're both on that like frequency of being able to like not just like sexually, but like get energetically give and receive equally. And when we're kind of like you said, that like right side, that's like that striving type of energy, it's stuck in performance and it can never actually enjoy the show because it's all trying to perform. So it's really beautiful. And it's funny also because like it's like when we go through these things, I'm also having my own experience of like relating to the things. Like I'm just bringing it through, and then I'm like, when I opened up the Akashic records for the queer aspect, I felt like my whole body like, oh God, like okay, like there's my own body is having a response to what this is. And I feel like coming out is a never ending process. And I think everyone is doing it. I just think, particularly being in a lifetime where it's like you have to come out, at least right now in this day and age, it just kind of forces that process open. But it's interesting, over the last year and a half, I don't even think of myself as queer anymore. Like even when I came out as a teenager, at the time I used the word gay, but I was like, that's not even me. Like I would just say like, I don't even know. I'm just me. Like I don't understand why I have to like put this word to it because it's only for other people to relate to. And that's when that piece that I'm recalling right now about extracting the labels. Like we try to understand, like literally, if you think about it, right? The eye of understanding is a queer energy center. You can't fucking understand queer energy. It is just is. It's where everything is moving through in order to be it's like the zero experience, but all experience all the time. It's like I feel very like masculine and feminine and all these different things. And I used to like wonder like, oh, like am I gender fluid, or like what is this experience? Because I would feel really masculine and I'd like cut my hair short, or I'd feel really feminine and I grow my hair long, like whatever I was like in the mood. And what I ended up realizing is I was in an oscillation between activating masculine and feminine energies. And I was here observing that, like, oh my God, I'm masculine, I'm feminine, I'm masculine, I'm feminine, not realizing what's looking at it. I was interfacing with different energies as they were activating within my being until it didn't matter if I was masculine or feminine. I just was, and in an experience of what it was like, as if those things could be separate things. So in the end, it doesn't even matter. So we explain everything, and then it's like, okay, it doesn't even matter because it just is there. But it's cool to describe these different aspects, and because in this experience they are different aspects, but to be able to come to this space between the two panes of glass really offers that as this experience to be free to actually be in the separation, to actually be masculine, like accepting this queer energy that is flowing through everything allows us to actually play the part of the masculine or play the part of the feminine whenever it's required. And we can, we all have these energies within us and they all just come to play when they are necessary. But when we have this bottleneck, even for myself, like gay, like sometimes I'm like, I don't even know how to interact with, like that's been like a lifetime thing of like, how do I interact with men who I perceive as being very masculine because that relationship was very damaged as a child. So how do I relate to it? And as soon as I stopped relating to myself as a particular identifiable thing that was somehow different than other people, even though clearly, we all are, then I could actually receive the difference of them. Like dissonance is only my inability to receive their harmony. And their harmony looks like something other than mine. And we're all in harmony with ourselves. And together we get to like paint this whole picture. So yeah, it's amazing what you shared, brother. Anyone else would like to share something? I love hearing about everyone's experiences. It's so cool. Like, I mean, I know I'm the one talking, but I feel like we're all in this like together.
Well, I have to go. I love all of you so much, and I really hope to see you all in 2 weeks or 3, whenever Barrett is ready to hop back on to this. I'm so grateful for all of the support and presence and willingness and openness everybody's been displaying, even people who haven't shared at all. I feel you, and I'm so grateful for all of it, and I'm just super stoked about your projects, Barrett. And I want to help you in the office. I'll reach out.
Yeah.
I want to be part of that, man. But I gotta go, so I gotta jet. Love you all.
Love you too.
Adrian.
Bye, Adrian.
Ciao, ciao. Anyone else would like to share? Just unmute yourself.
I just want to share, again, I guess today is my day of sharing. It's interesting to hear others' experiences of these sessions. And, a lot of what I hear people share is like these kind of really deep and profound experiences. And my experience is usually opposite of that. And I'm present and I'm listening, but my mind wanders and my body, I don't stay in one place. I move around a lot. I get up, I go fill my teacup, I go do other things. And I used to think that was a problem because I've noticed that in other realms too, where I'm part of something and I don't really seem to be having the similar experience as other people. And it started, I guess I realized it when I started going floating years and years ago in the float tanks. And people would talk about having these like totally like fantastical, like wild, kind of interesting experiences. And I'm like, I'm just laying there thinking about, I wonder what time it is. I wonder if my session's almost done or not. Oh, my left leg. Oh, my right arm. Oh, and it's very, very like human, and it doesn't feel spiritual at all. And I guess I'm just now really realizing with this series of sessions that that's okay. And today I was in probably 50 different positions and I got up probably 10 different times. That's one of the reasons I don't use my video, is because I'm all over the place. And I'm like, I think that's just my way. And I think that my soul, my being has been there and done all of that quote unquote spiritual stuff so much that now I'm just really here having a human experience. And I don't know, it's interesting. I'd be curious if you have any thoughts on that, but it's okay if you don't too. I just wanted to share that I used to get jealous of other people's, insights. And, Joshua, when you were talking, I was like, wow, I was like, I heard all that, but I surely wasn't thinking that much about it or that deeply about it. So anyway, I'm usually the odd one out.
Yeah, no, it's no, I definitely resonate. People, I've had experiences like that where people are sharing these things and I'm like, I just feel like I'm like I remember like, for example, with like some like plant medicine, people were having these like amazing experiences and I'm like, I just feel like I'm dissociated from my body, like, you know, just like, so I feel like, you know, we're only having the experience that we essentially need because it's there, right? And what's interesting is when we're pushing against, like, yeah, like you said, like the very human experience, trying to have a spiritual experience, like we don't, we're not actually receiving the spiritual nature of the experience that's happening, you know, like the very human quality of the things that are occurring is a spiritual experience. And by totally, like you said, like it's totally fine making that so okay, you might actually find like and I'm not saying don't expect this, and even if you do, it's fine, whatever. It's like, no, at this point, it's like nothing even matters. Like if you really get what I'm saying, like nothing matters. And that's when everything starts to actually matter, because you're giving it purpose and love and joy just by it being there. But anyways, by coming into this space, you might actually notice that your experience starts to flip, where you do start to have more spiritual experiences, because the body, because I'm just feeling like there's like a traumatic kind of like shaking energy that can kind of feel like scattered. But you previously, as you said, trying to you know, focus and have the experience, that part actually feels abandoned. And so by making it totally okay, that actually calms the nervous system. And as the nervous system calms, then things open up to either have just a more peaceful experience with what's already happening, like what is already happening, as you said. And then beyond that, it can be any kind of different or the same, but your relationship to it just keeps getting better because there are deeper and deeper layers of okayness that you're finding. And I think that's awesome. So whether your experience changes or stays the same, your relationship to it can always become more intimate. And I think that's what you found today. And that's super beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, that is, yep, 100%. So good. Love you, Gina. So glad that you're here. And just unmute yourself if you'd like to share something.
I guess I'll try to be quick. I was yawning almost the entire time during the meditation and coughing at times. And I noticed that not so much during the focus on the feminine. I'm just hoping that's because I already cleared a lot out of the pathways of the feminine in the past, hopefully. And didn't need to do that much clearing during this session for that part. And I also needed to move and stretch and massage the back of my neck. And I noticed that after I did that, I felt more energy throughout my body flowing. So that was a confirmation of something good happening. Oh, and also, Gina, I resonate with you. I've been jealous all my life that other people have visual and this and that kind of experiences that I don't have. I haven't had, but who knows what's going to happen now. That was powerful, that meditation, and I felt it, you know, so we'll see. But yeah,
Amazing.
I love the it's all good position. It's all good. We're all individuals. We're all having our own beautiful, amazing experience, and for all kinds of good reasons, and unique experience, and purpose and mission, and yeah, way of doing things. And
100%.
for fabulous benefit for good reasons. And it's so lovely to have that reassurance and that affirmation, confirmation from Barrett and the group, um, brought together by Barrett. So thank you so much, Barrett. Love you so much.
Love you so much.
Oh.
And just again to touch on the not having the spiritual experience, you know, it's interesting just from the other perspective. Like I always was having like these crazy spiritual experiences ever since I was a kid, and I wanted nothing more but to not have them. So it's like, regardless of which side you're on, you always want the other side. And actually, that wanting of the other side, that desire, is actually just driving us towards greater balance. So it doesn't really matter which side we find ourselves on, because I actually just found like the simplicity of like looking like just because at one point actually in my process, I think it was like a year or two ago, all spiritual experiences disappeared completely, and I was having none of it. No intuitions, no nothing, no psychic, no nada. And it was actually terrifying for me because I didn't know how to relate to life without it. And that was, it was like an identity crisis. And once that integrated it, it came back. But now it's like, I tend to not, the funny thing is, right, we move towards like activating intuition and psychic ability. I try not to like tap into that as much as possible. Like I don't like, if it's required, it will come to me. Otherwise, like it's too much energy of focusing on things that are already perfect. Like this is already functioning super perfectly. If it needs to change, I will find out because it will be obvious. And when we're, interfacing with life in this way, we get to end spirituality. Like I feel like I'm the only, what I guess, spiritual teacher, whatever you want to call it, that's like on a mission to end spirituality. I'm like, please let this end. Like, can we just live our lives and actually enjoy it? And I say this all the time, the end of spirituality is your life, and your life is spiritual. There can be no other way. There is only you, which is spirit, living a life, and you're trying to be spiritual, which is hilarious because it's like a bottle of mustard, like wishing it was a condiment. Like there can be no other way. It is what you are. And whether it's ketchup or mustard, like they're both different experiences. They're equally condiments. And that's what we're going here for. So love you so much, Jamie. Anyone else would like to share? Just unmute yourself.
I've been a little bit quiet because I didn't sleep very well last night. But I can totally relate to you, Gina, that, people come up with all this, or not come up with, experience all this stuff. And I was just sitting during the meditation, and I found myself wandering, my mind wandering, and I was able to catch glimpses of that other side of the glass that you're speaking of. And they would just fleet on by. As soon as I noticed it, it would be gone. And at one point, I was wondering what your definition of queer was. I thought that was an interesting way to describe that body area. Queer. Queer is queer.
Yeah, like I think even using the word queer, it's almost like it's already a dissociation from what it is, trying, like the attempt to define it is already not it, so it's like, that's why I say I'm just me, but it's really just, it's life force. Like it's the thing that makes plants grow and the sun shine, like it, and they're all represented in different ways, right? Like the sun could be a masculine energy, and the plant receiving the photons is feminine, so it's all of it all at once and nothing at the same time. So really trying to like point or define what queerness is impossible, but we try. We try all
Yeah.
the time.
Well, what else are we gonna do?
Exactly, right? Oh, and I
Yeah.
wanted to say about that, yeah, not the spiritual experience again, because this keeps coming up and I keep forgetting to say. I was at a cenote the other day, and all these people were like taking photos of the epic nature, and like I was doing the same thing too. And then I was just thinking, like, dang, like, the best camera that I've ever seen in existence is like my eyes. Like that, the spiritual experience of just recognizing like the clarity of witnessing things, of hearing things, like that is so profoundly spiritual in a way that isn't an idea of spirit. It's like we are existing, and to like just waking up one day and realizing like, oh my God, like I'm real, like looking at my hands, like that's a hand, like this thing is real, and to exist at all, is a miracle. And I think the embodiment of that is really what queerness is about, because queerness, well, a miracle is what is beyond imagination. And since queerness, which we all contain, it's neutral, it has nothing to do with sexuality, is prior to, it is beyond imagination, beyond conceptualization. It is the integration of that which is miraculous, that which is beyond understanding. You cannot understand it. And that's all I got at the moment.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, so good. I also, are you in like a hotel or something, like, or is this your house just like perfectly designed? Like, okay, cool.
No, I've gone from the reason why I didn't sleep, I was staying at I don't know if you know it, the what is it, Mala e Kahana cabins up on the northeast shore of Oahu.
Oh, nice.
I like a
Yeah, there's no electricity, and I was there for 4 days. I didn't want to leave. I was just in Miracle Land.
Good.
Yes. Now I've come to a hotel room in Waikiki. That's why I couldn't sleep.
Oh, it looks like a Lohilani, actually.
It's Kaimana.
Oh, cute.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's right on the ocean here. It's beautiful.
Oh, so good. Enjoy Hawaii today for me.
I will.
Oh, love you, sweetie.
Love you too, Barrett.
Oh,
And you-
Barrett? Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
just share something quickly. First of all, fucking amazing call, and the whole program has been incredible. And I like what you said and what a lot of people shared about the group, because that's what I felt throughout the whole thing. Like, there's incredible, beautiful energy within the group, and I love that, and I'm so grateful for that. And I just wanted to share too, that I relate so much to what you shared, Gina, and that's been my experience, like ever since even coming into the community and meeting a lot of you in the retreats, and throughout my whole journey, I've always been jealous of people's experiences and those like deep, like crazy spiritual. And I've been chasing that. That's been my experience, that I've been chasing that, and eventually I realized, I like what you shared, Barrett, about that chase is exhausting. Like, I realized like it's exhausting to and I love the idea of that radical okayness, and realizing everything that you share, you know, that it's completely fine to have a different experience. And I realize my experiences might never meet my expectations, and it's just been an incredible, beautiful journey of, like you said, it's the experiences are the same, but the way you see them and the way you experience them can be different. So that's been such a gift for me, because I can definitely relate so much to that, of always like feeling a little bit of jealousy of other people's experiences when it comes to spirituality and all that. So
Well,
it's fun.
here, let me
I'm so glad to know that yeah, my experience isn't so unusual after all. And one of the things I've been playing with the last couple of weeks has been to not have my intuition need to be such a spiritual thing. And so I've noticed myself, like, I used to write little notes or post-it notes, or, you know, I'd want to remind myself of things later, or I didn't want to forget things. And I've been playing with, if I really need to remember that at some point in the future, I want to trust my intuition to remind me at the exact moment I need reminding. And so I've been purposely not writing things down. I went to bed the other night and I was thinking, okay, this weekend is my mom's birthday. She loves carrot cake. I need to figure out where to get this friggin' carrot cake. And I was in bed already and I was tempted to get up and write that down. And I was like, no, I'll remember tomorrow or whenever, exactly when I need to remember to either get her a carrot cake or not. Like, it's not that big a deal, right? And then the next day at the perfect moment, I remembered, oh yeah, I was gonna call the market down the street and ask them about carrot cake. It was perfect. And it's like, oh, it can be that easy. So I guess I do want a little bit of proof, but deep down I know, right?
100%.
It's
I
weird.
like people can use like I said this to someone one time. I'm like,
we're gonna go and eat food.
yes, enjoy. I'm getting hungry myself.
So much. It's
Thank
been a really
you.
wonderful experience to share with all of you.
So good.
Thank you so much. It's
Thank
been
you.
such a magical journey. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, hopefully see you in the next class.
Sounds
See you
good.
soon.
Love you so much. Aloha.
Love you all. Thank you so much. Really grateful.
Lots of love.
So good.
I'm going to take off too.
All right, love. See you
Yes.
soon.
Love to everyone. Thank you,
Ciao,
everyone. Thank you so much, Barrett.
You're welcome. Thank
Bye.
you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Well, it's just us now. I just like don't want to say goodbye. Oh,
Soaking in the energy field.
exactly. Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, question for you actually specifically. How is that time frame for Hawaii? Like I'm kind of thinking like moving it forward to starting at 1 p.m., which I think would be 8 a.m. for Hawaii. You know, like, do you feel like that would be better for everyone? I think so. I don't know.
It's about the same for me, but logically, it probably would be better for others. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, I definitely want to, connect with my Hawaii crew. So
Yes. And I'll be happy to send that out again.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
send you a digital copy of the next class. I already have the flyer done. So
Okay. Yeah, I'll share that definitely.
love you so much. You're totally like that divine mother energy for Oahu in such a massive way. So
Hello.
thank you for everything that you do.
My joy, my joy. Yeah.
Well, my friends, anyone else? I mean, we can chat on here for a few more minutes. I'm definitely getting hungry. But yeah, I just love talking to you guys. So
I'm
Thank
ready
you.
to release you, Barrett, to food and
Go get some food. Thank you so
energy
much.
with us.
love you guys.
Have a
Aloha.
beautiful day, everyone.
Love
You
you.
too.
Hello.
Aloha and ciao ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Aloha.